Hello and welcome to the channel. Be sure to share, like, and comment down below. And if you're new here, hit that subscribe button for daily videos on news and politics. Roger Stone, Mueller setting perjury trap for Trump. Former advisor to Trump campaign weighs in on the Ingram angle.
As mentioned earlier, President Trump said today he would be willing to answer questions from special counsel Bob Mueller. But Trump's longtime confidant and former advisor Roger Stone says it is a trap. Roger joins us from Fort Lauderdale to explain. Roger, I bet you loved hearing the president just riff today about, oh yeah, no problem, I'll come and have a cup of coffee, unload my burdens. Well, how could this possibly be a trap, Roger? And Mueller wants the best for the president.
Well, look, it's understandable why the president's confident. He knows he's done nothing wrong, but a first-year law student would tell you that this is an obvious perjury trap, that Robert Mueller is taking advantage of the president's loquaciousness, the fact that he's never a man who suffers from a paucity of words. And what is absolutely clear is that Mr. Mueller has no evidence of Russian collusion. So now we're all the way cycled back around to the dismissal of Mr. Comey. And he seeks to entrap the president in some kind of process crime, perjury, or obstruction. Therefore, the best advice that I could give the president, and I agree with Judge Andrew Napolitano on this, is that under no circumstances should he grant Mr. Mueller an interview. And it's a suicide mission. It's a very clear perjury trap.
Under Lawrence Walsh's investigation during Iran-Contra, Roger, the special counsel there, Walsh, agreed not to interview President Reagan in person. They submitted interrogatories. The president responded to the written interrogatories, and that's how it went down. Obviously, here, with the precedent of the Star special counsel, they had the videotaped testimony and so forth. So it's kind of a different precedent. But what if they agreed to a narrow, a narrow pathway, a narrow parameter, where you were only going to ask about these two things? That's what in a normal grand jury setting or a normal interview setting for a normal client, no lawyer would allow you to go in. They would say, okay, we're only going to, we'll talk, but only about these two topics. What about narrowing the confines of the question?
Well, traditionally, if the information can be got otherwise, the president would not be interviewed. A perfectly reasonable compromise to avoid a constitutional crisis would be for Mr. Mueller to submit written questions and for the president to respond to them in writing. I don't see how any reasonable person could disagree with that. But for the president to walk into the blade, as it were, and to try to pretend that Mueller and his band of partisan pirates are just honest brokers, honest prosecutors, just trying to ferret out the truth, is disproved by everything we know so far. And now, with an extraordinary number of text messages from the FBI going missing, I'm old enough to remember when 18 and a half minutes of Nixon's White House tapes went missing and the mainstream media and the liberals went insane. Where is that outrage today? If nothing, that proves the partisan nature of this inquiry and the fact that the Department of Justice under Rod Rosenstein, who I have advocated the president fire immediately for his conflict of interest, is not on the level.
John, you said earlier today the following about what the president should do and how he should consider it. Let's watch.
I actually think President Trump should welcome the opportunity to speak to Mueller and try to accelerate it, because after he's done, that will wrap up Mueller's probe.
Roger, I assume you disagree with that.
Well, spoken like the neocon Bushite that he is, look, I think that's naive. And I think that's how the president's lawyers are selling this to the president. But these are the same lawyers who urged him to waive executive privilege and turn over all records depending on the impartiality and the lack of bias, of Robert Mueller. It is a foolhardy piece of advice. It is a suicide mission. Under no circumstances should the president grant Mueller a live interview. Clearly, there is a compromise. Yeah. Let them submit questions in writing. Let the president respond in writing.
I think he could have done better than Ty Cobb and John Dowd. I mean, God bless them as lawyers. I mean, he needed his own dream team, and I think he needed to raise the bar for the council representation as well. Roger, thank you so much.
Be sure to share, like, subscribe, and comment down below and give me your opinion on this report. But other than that, I hope you have a great day.